Hi, my name is Mary Clay, and I came to tell you about an astral projection that I had today, May 12, 2018, this morning. I got up at 6, and then I went to bed and I slept and had an astral projection. And I saw myself in India, where I was in a classroom over there. It was some type of, I don't know if it was a school or just a classroom. And I don't remember exactly what they were teaching us, because it was not only me, there were other people over there, men and women. And then at one point we lay down I lay down on my left side, and there was a man behind me who put his right hand on my umbilical chakra, and I put my right hand on top of his hand. And during that process I could see some energy flowing from my hand to his hand to my umbilical chakra, and then this energy spread all over my body. So after that, my body got to a stage like a epilepticus thing. It's like I was having a seizure thing, because my whole body was shaking. I could feel that shakiness inside of me, and that reached my whole body. So I turned, my head went backward like this, and my eyelids was blinking voluntarily, and my eyeball was like a rolling backward. So then when I was trying to move my hand, so my hand was very, very shaking. So then at that point, the man who was behind me with the hands on my umbilical, he said loud, "She reached Samadhi." I think it was Samadhi, the word that he used. I'm not really positive about the word because, it's in another language. I can't really be sure about the word, but it sounds like Samadhi, that he said that I reached Samadhi, something like this. So then I sat down when that finished, and those tremors, went away, and I was on my normal again. So I sat down on that bed, because it was like a bed, a twin bed. I sat down in a lotus flower position. The sheets on the bed was white. And then while I'm sitting down, and I see this man who was with the hand on my umbilicals moving around, fixing things around me, putting very colorful, beautiful, colorful pillows behind me and on my side, and trying to make me kind of comfortable, something like that. And then he put a chair on my left side, and it was for him, that chair, and there was other chair, and he was kind of fixing the room around me, and then he brought some type of scarves, but big scarves, colorful, and he put on over me, over my shoulder. He was kind of covering me with that on my head, and then after he did all this setup, because I could not understand what was happening, what he was doing, and I was saying, "What's going on? What is happening here? What is going on?" Nobody would say anything. He was just moving around, and all of a sudden he opened a door in that room, and so then people were coming to talk to me. And then the first one was a woman, and everybody was from India, because I was there. And so all these people were coming to talk to me, and they were from India. So this woman, she was dressed in a sari, like a red sari, and she was right in front of me, and she put her hands like this, one palm on the top of the other palm, and then I touched her forehead. I didn't know exactly what was that about, but I was just going with the flow. The woman came to me. She put the hands, one palm on top of the other, and then she started telling me a problem in her life. And I guess I was supposed to help her with some, advices. I believe so. So I just I was going with the flow. So she told me her issues, her problems in her life, and I was just advising her about whatever, giving her some tips, how to deal with that and things like that. And then came a man, and then came another woman, and then people they were coming to talk to me. And the man who was kind of taking care of me, I would say like that, he was sitting on my side on the chair that he put over there for him on my left side. He had an iPad, and every single person who was coming, he was writing his what was the problem and what I was saying to that person about that problem. Everything that I was saying, he was writing down on the iPad. He had an iPad with him. So then there was a point that came a girl. She probably was 15 years old. She told me some of her problems, which I don't remember what she said, what was the problem, but I remember what I told her. So I said to her that she needs to start practicing love, that she needs to start putting love in everything that she was doing, that she not only think of love, but she should practice love, putting love in things that she was doing, her work and in her relationship with people and everything. And then I told her that when the problem she was having in her life was because she was not practicing to put love in her attitudes, in her words, in her relationship, in everything else that she was doing in her life. And the reason for that, because, and then I keep telling her, the conversation continued, and I said to her that there's a lot of fears. When people come to, and I told her, well, when people come to you and they are aggressive to you, they want to fight you, they're telling you bad things, and they're very irritable to you, it's because there are fears in the middle of the two of you. This person has fears inside of them, and the moment you respond to this person with the same aggressivity, with the same violence, with the same irritability, because you also have fears, you both have fears inside of you. So you need to look at inside and analyze yourself. Look at to see what are the fears you carry inside, so you can target each fear and find what you can do. Work on each fear, face to face with your fears, so you can be free from that fear, and you be free from everything, and then things will get better. Things will get much better for you once you look at inside of yourself and watch the fears, see what are the fears, and then you can work on each fears. And you have to face it. You gotta face it so you can be free, and you can work on it and be free. And this is when this person is violent with you, and this person is coming to you and yelling, screaming, or calling you names without this irritability, aggressiveness, just when you respond with love. It doesn't mean that you're going to say, oh, I love you, and it doesn't work. It's not that way. You're just gonna respond to this person in a loving way, in a way that you're not going to be aggressive. You're not gonna offer hate. You're not gonna be offering other violence, another aggressiveness. You're gonna respond with love. With that, that person, that moment, they gonna get confused because they were expecting that you would be reacting in the same way. But when you respond with love, for a few minutes, they're going to be, aggravating. They're going to be yelling and doing what they were doing. But then they will realize that you didn't give the same thing back. They're going to get confused, and they will stop. And they will stop, and they will stop. And then they won't have this reaction towards you anymore, because you're not offering the same thing. The same vibration. You're not offering the same vibration that they have. They send you this negative energy. If you send back the negative energy, you're sending back double. You're sending their energy plus yours, and this going kind of go back and forth. And that's why after a while, when two people is fighting each other, it gets a really big fight, because that negative energy is growing and growing and growing and become really a big ball. And then it's even harder to dissolve this. That's why you have to work on this right at the beginning, when the first negative energy is coming towards you. Respond with love. It's almost like when in the Bible, when Jesus said that to give the other face, is mostly what he wants to say is to when something like this happen, is to think twice. Don't be reactive. When we are reactive, we're not thinking. We just, is the ego reacting automatically to that, and each ego wants to be bigger than the other one. So then just step back in your thoughts, in your feelings, and look at the situation, see what is going on, and respond with love. Respond with love. Give a loving feedback. Don't give the same energy. Give a different energy, a positive energy. And sometimes you even have to be in silence, because silence, it's better than be aggressive and be yelling at the other person. And so this is what I was telling this girl, the 15 years old girl in net. She didn't like my answer. She didn't like what I said to her. So she said to me that was always, all that stuff was baloney. And all this conversation was in English. That this was baloney. That she didn't believe in any of this. That I didn't know what I was telling her. So I told her that's okay. You don't have to accept this information right now. You can just keep the information, go home and think about it, and then do like a travel inside of you. See your fears, write down, see your fears, analyze each fear, and see your reactions to the fears and how this goes toward other people. And that's how I told her. So she left. She wasn't very happy with me, with what I told her. And then it's coming a man, and this man he's telling me a situation about the same. And every time somebody's coming, they doing this same thing. One hand after like this. So I touch their hands, and I touch their forehead, and then I start talking to them. And then he told me another situation that was very similar to that girl, that there was. And then I was telling him for him to look at the situation, every situation that is that appears like hatred, to look at the situation, because the other side of love, it's not hatred. It's actually fear. And so I spoke to him about fears. That the other side of love is fear. It's not hatred. It's fear that he needs to do about the same. Look it inside and see what was his fears, and embrace his fears. Be face to face to his fears. And then look at each one, and what can he do for each fear to overcome that problems, that fears, so he can be free. And then many of the problems that he was presented would be resolved. But he needs to resolve this with him first. He needed to resolve his fears first. So then he was asking me to give an examples, give an example. So because I didn't know his personal life, so I was giving like a general examples of situation when people were fighting each other, and actually each person has their own fears, and then they were screaming each other, but there were fears behind that. Sometimes it's fears of not being acceptable, not being loved, fears, for different fears of losing power. So there are different fears, especially there are some relationship that are based on fears. Sometimes husband had too much power over the woman or something like this, and so he was thinking he was losing his powers over his family, so he was in fear. And so I was giving like examples just to for him to see clearly what I was trying to say about love and fear, the two sides. And once he sees his fears, embrace his fears, and work on it, he would be free, and then he could be just be love, just be, when in a situation like this of a lot of emotional distress, he would be offering love instead of fears. And the hatred, like when somebody is hating somebody, is expanding and expelling out that negative energy, is actually, this is just a consequence. It's just like a symptom of the fear. It's a symptom of the fear. So I told him this, so he left, and then it came another man, and he was very old, he had no teeth, and he came to talk to me, and it seems that he wants to talk to me like in privacy, because there was other people in it, because he was coming very close, and I could feel his lips in my face, my skin. But he was talking in another language. He was probably talking in his language, a different language. And I asked around, is anybody to translate? Is anybody here to be an interpreter? And nobody showed up. So he was just sitting over there. And again, talking in his language. And I couldn't understand a word what he was saying. But and then he sat down in a corner and waited until somebody would come to translate. So after that, several people came, and then my guide to India, because I just had a trip to India in February, and there was a guide with me, and he became my friend. So he came to the room it seems that he came to talk to me, and then he saw that I was doing this with people, so he left the room. And in my mind I was thinking, well, when I finish here, I gotta look for him. So then I was in another room, and I was sitting, there was a little table with two chairs, and I was sitting in one chair, and there was a little girl, like maybe 2 or 3 years old, from India. So she was sitting over there, so I was playing with her, talking with her, and all of a sudden, my grandmother, she showed up. And my grandmother, she is dead in her body, she's not here, she's in the spirit right now. So she came in, and she showed me all the way down. She said, oh, did you see down all the way down there? Did you see that? So then I looked down, and then I noticed I was like in a second or third floor of a building, and there was like a glassy window. So I looked through, and I saw the Ganga River down there. Yeah, so I saw the Ganga River down there, and I told my grandmother, well, yes, it is beautiful. We're gonna go there. We're gonna go to see that closely. So then I continue over there with with the little child, playing, talking with the little child. And then the guy who was kind of taking care of me, doing all the stuff with me in that room. So he came, he took a piece of my hair like this, so he took a piece of my hair and put on the side like this, and then he poured water. And then, because it seemed like, I don't know, I was telling him, and while he was putting water on a piece of my hair, I told her, well, yeah, my hair is kind of dry, isn't it? And then he just poured water here, and then he put his head under here, so the water was running through my hair would go to his head. So it was kind of, I don't know, he was trying to get some, I don't know, energy, I believe. So that's, I think, I think that's probably something like this. He was trying to get some energy from my hair, you know, because that's what he did. Put water, put his head down, and then the water was running through my hair and going to his head. And then after that, somebody called a name, and we looked through that window again, and I saw like a door all the way down on the ground, and from that door opened, and then a woman came out of there with a man, and this woman was me. But I had a very, very curly, much curly hair, you know, and in long, you know, so it was a lot of hair, very long and very curly. And I was really, really white, because I am white here, but it was like I was the color of the wall here, you know, very, very white. And then I woke up. I woke up. There was not, you know, it was just that I saw and woke up. Oh, and I just want to say, like, during while I was, you know, seeing people when I was sitting on the bed, every time the scarf would, you know, would come down like this, and my shoulder would like a show off, because I actually I was wearing like a white t-shirt, no, without sleeves. So when this happened, the man who was kind of taking care of the stuff around me, the you know, the pillows, all this, so he would come and he would fix the scarves over my shoulder, covering me. You know, he would fix everything while I was there talking to the people who was coming, who were coming to see me. So I thought it was really, really nice experience. You know, I thought it was very, very nice, and it's funny because this is not the first time this happened. I had one experience in the past, like a projection in the past, where I was working here in the United States, and I was doing the similar thing, but I was like in those normal clothes that people wear here in the United States, and I was in a place where people would come, mostly women. They would come to talk to me, and I would advise them. I would do some advice, like counseling, you know, was some type of counseling them about the issues, about their problems. And then in another projection, in another astral projection, I was out of my body, and then I was in the body of a man in another place. It was like if I was the entity in the body of a man, and in this place I was the entity doing this, you know, because I went to this man's body, and there was a line of people who would come to me, and they would do something, like they would grab my hand and, like, I don't know, kissing my hand, something like this, and like asking for blessings, and then they would tell their problems. They would tell the problem, because I remember a woman came to me in this specific projection, and she was telling me her problems, and I was advising her. I was counseling her about her problem, you know, like helping her in that way. So this is not the first time I have like a very similar dreams, very similar experience where I am counseling people. You know, first time was here, United States, and then the second time was like as an entity in somebody's body. And it seems to me that I was in Brazil doing this, and then now in India, not in India, when I was also doing, you know, counseling people about their problems. So I just want to leave this astral projection experience here, because I loved it. I loved it so much. And I don't know, I had like, I wanted to say, that well, I think I spoke to about the man. Yeah, I think I spoke about the man that we have to face the fears and to resolve the problems. Yeah, so it was really nice. And all these lessons, what I want to say too is that I learned so much through my out of body experiences. I learned a lot. I got a lot of lessons, just like this one that I received today. I received a lot of lessons in other out of body experiences. And in those lessons, they are first for me, it's for myself, because I have a lot of issues. Internal issues, I have a lot of fears. And so this was something for myself, which really I put the head down and, I have to work on it. And I like to pass the message to in videos for other people, so people can the same way that I am, that I have all these issues, that I have problems, and I believe many other people have something very similar. They are living a moment very similar, and some people need this message, and that's why I make those videos, so I can pass it on the message, because those messages are wonderful. They are good for me, because I think they are the first person that this message are directed is to me. It's to me, they are for me. But then, because I think it can help so many other people to open their eyes, open their mind, open their heart, so we all can make change in our life. We can all do our like a reform, like a just review our beliefs and systems and our fears and the situation, because everything is inside of us. I have every answer for each question we have, it's inside of us. Sometimes we just don't know how to get it out, and sometimes we need something to trigger the answer, and one of my messages, and many other people who put videos, in net or articles, blogs, and and any message you receive sometimes can be the trigger to get it out, to help you get that fear out, to get that issue out and resolve it. And sometimes you don't know how to resolve. You get a message, and then that's the message you needed to find out how you will resolve that fear, how you get it rid of that fear and have a normal life. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I know English is my second language, and I don't speak perfectly English, but never mind of that. Just pay attention to the message, because that is the most important thing, is the message to get the message that was brought to me. And I think the first person to use this message is me, but also, it can help a lot of people. So that's why I'm spreading the word. Get those fears out and work on it. And, so you can be happy and have a normal life. You can see yourself free of those fears and have normal life. So then, thank you so much for listening to my video and seeing my video. I have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe so you can see more videos. I don't have many videos in English, so I'm starting to do this right now, so I can reach more people, who can also enjoy the message and use the message for their life. Most of my videos are in Portuguese, my native language, but I will post more videos in English, so that way other people can enjoy the message and and grow and expand in all the good things. So thank you so much. Have a good and wonderful weekend and all the other days, and we see again in another video Subscribe to my channel so you can see when new videos are posted, and you know, click like if you like the video, so will help to spread the word, to spread the message. Okay, thanks so much. Namaste.